Hello again. I'm going for a night ride on an e-bike through Cherokee Park in Louisville, Kentucky, and currently being tailgated by some cars. This portion of the park is two-way traffic with no bike-specific lanes, and speed limit's 25 miles per hour, but people don't like to do that. The speed limit below it, and people don't like that, so I wasn't intending specifically to record anything, but I figured I'd turn this on just in case anybody gets a little bit angry. And people are going the same way that I am, unfortunately. I'm going to go down by the Riverfront area. And there is a bike lane through here, so I will not be riding in the middle of normal street traffic. Which can always be dangerous. There be bike lanes, but just because they exist doesn't mean people like to respect them as such. In this section here, you can always have somebody decide to make a last-second turn. So, nothing actually came out of that. Nobody was too crazy. A bunch of remnants in the road of a crash. Going slowly, so that's never safe when traffic is bunched up side by side with you in the bike lane. One thing I have come to recognize is that even if you're in a separated bike lane, people really don't like it when they're in a car and you pass them, and then they pass you back, and then it goes back and forth. And this is just a teeny tiny little strip of the shoulder that's designated as a bike lane. Damn it, this is going to be unsafe. Ooh, now I'm under the Big 4 Pedestrian Bridge. The waterfront area of downtown Louisville. And it goes over to Jeffersonville, Indiana. This is just some more video riding around the riverfront. You know, it's nighttime. It was relatively warm, so some of this audio I'm recording now as I edit the video versus things that I said when I originally recorded this on the GoPro. This was from the beginning of December. It was pretty nice weather out, which is why you see a few people going around here. You know, currently there's snow on the ground and it's pretty cold, but at this point it was, you know, in the high 50s, low 60s. It's pretty warm weather for the time of year. Now we're going up the Big 4 bridge. And this is something too where when you know, if you're going to be in this area and you're going to ride an e-bike or something across the bridge, even if you have one that has a throttle, I would recommend pedaling and not going super fast. For one, you're not supposed to go fast on the bridge to begin with, but just to not confuse people and you know, make them question what's going on. If you are pedaling plenty, then everybody understands that it's a bike and nobody really pays attention. You know, even if you do have the throttle, don't be too lazy. And this is the section of the bridge that comes out in Jeffersonville, Indiana. So this comes out to the Indiana side of the Big 4 bridge. And being that it was still early December, there were plenty of Christmas lights up around places. And there was some type of choir performing, I'm assuming Christmas music or something, down by the bridge entrance exit. So there was, you know, some nice imagery going on. And as you can see, the southern Indiana side doesn't have as many large buildings as the Louisville side, but they have built the kind of riverfront area up quite a bit. So there's a lot of restaurants and bars and things that are worth going to in the area. And here again, I'm just kind of rolling through slowly, not going too fast. I had the regenerative engine brake going. Doesn't really do enough to put any energy back in the battery, but it does slow you down and reduce your wear and tear on the brakes. And in general, I would say when you're going on, you know, e-bikes, electric scooters, one-wheels, EUCs, any type of stuff, it's good to go slowly when you can, just to not be irresponsible. And, you know, there's always police usually at the bottom sections of the bridge, at least on the Indiana side. So going through slowly and pedaling doesn't draw any questions. So this is jumping ahead a little bit. So this is the Discovery Trail that if you go to the Ohio River Greenway, it goes in a few different directions. So if you can turn to the Discovery Trail, there'll be markers and signs on the path. This is where it'll take you. And I just want to go through here because I got through during the daytime, and I think I had done a video or two. I went through here before as well. But I saw the street lamps. I figured it would probably look pretty cool at nighttime since it's well illuminated. I figured it would probably be relatively safe. And they have the little button you can push that initiates the yellow caution lights, so that hopefully cars can see from a little bit of a distance away. And there's plenty of security cameras and lights. Now, I'm going on an e-bike that can go faster than a person can run, so I wasn't really too concerned. I still wouldn't really recommend going by yourself at nighttime on any kind of path on foot, because you never know what'll happen. But luckily on any of these rides I've never really had any problems. Yeah, so this is just going along the Discovery Trail. It goes behind some different residential areas, and then there are a few businesses. At some point, I can't remember if it's this one or not, it's harder to tell at nighttime, there's like some type of gun shooting range type place. And then there are a few other businesses, and if you keep going, it will come out to some main roads with like gas stations and other businesses. Now going down through here, at some point, there's a small park, because along this Discovery Trail path, there are a couple of small parks you'll run past, which, you know, have like picnic areas or, you know, basketball courts or, you know, small areas to, you know, do things outdoors. This is coming up here on the left, which isn't super easy to see since it's nighttime, but there is, you know, you can see your basketball courts and stuff over there. So there's just, you know, some stuff around this trail that you can go to. It seems like these neighborhoods, it's nice to have access to the small parks, especially if everybody doesn't have huge backyards or something. Again, this is kind of jumping back a little bit, so this is on the way back. About to pass some people.
Oh, thank you.
And going through here, there was a family that had some kids and dogs, so I just made sure that I went through slowly, pedaling quite a bit, and then just trying to be courteous. I think that's, when you're riding e-bikes and stuff, that's kind of the number one thing. Don't give the overall use of e-bikes a bad name. Just, you know, try to be courteous and don't go top speed and run people off the trails or something. That was as far as I went. I think I had done some additional exploring, but I didn't record it because it was too dark to really see much. Because I just had the GoPro Hero 8 on a chin mount, and those aren't the greatest low light cameras. So some of the video that I did get was a little bit too grainy and jittery, so I didn't include that in here. But this is me going back up the bridge over towards the Louisville side. And this is going towards the Riverfront Park area. You know, we're already at the Riverfront Park area, but this is the area that's over closer to the 2nd Street Bridge. It's pretty close to Slugger Field from here. Way off in the distance, if you keep going straight, they'll take you out close to Joe's Crab Shack. And something too, like with these GoPros, if you're using one of these and you're doing low light footage and you get really jittery footage, and it's like one of the like GoPro 7 or newer, a lot of times it's because the stabilization that they have works really well in full sunlight, but it needs like a higher shutter speed to work properly. So if you're in low light footage where it's using, you know, 24 frames per second and then in a shutter speed that stays open longer, sometimes the stabilization can be pretty jittery and look kind of bad. So that's something that can happen. But I think here there's enough ambient lighting in the area that it provides enough light for things not look too terrible. And then this is going down Market Street, heading back towards the Highlands. So here in a second, we'll be rolling through the Nulu area. Again, it was December 2nd or 3rd when this was filmed. I don't remember exactly because I didn't have an accurate date on my GoPro because I didn't set it. But it was the beginning of the month. It was pretty warm. Plenty of people out and about doing things. And something that's about to come up here is the dangers or the annoyances of the bike lanes being set up like they are in most of Louisville. So this is right alongside street parking, and you have to be careful to not get doored where people throw the door open into or right in front of you. So you have to be cognizant of that, and then people will get out of their cars and walk around through the bike lane, and people park overlapping into the bike lane. Sometimes, in this type of area, it can be relatively useless and kind of dangerous, honestly, if you just stayed in the bike lane and went at your normal speed without being extremely careful to make sure nobody's opening the doors into you or just walking out in front of you. And two, up here on the other side of this red light, it is Garage Bar that's over on the right that has some of the outdoor string lights that you'll see. So when I drive through where this area is, you also gotta be careful because somebody who's been drinking can walk in between cars and walk out in front of you without thinking. Pretty common. And again, people park over the lines pretty frequently, at times enough that you really can't stay in the bike lane. And then there's construction going on that makes you have to jump out of it as well. And too, with people parking like this, you always have to be on the lookout for someone who's backing out of their parking spot or opening a trunk or hatch or something. And then this is heading back towards the Baxter Avenue section of Bardstown, because at a certain point, Bardstown and Baxter overlap, and then it's Baxter down to kind of downtown. So about to turn left onto Baxter as I head back towards the Highlands area. I have the turn signals on this bike, so I think it makes it a little bit easier to let people know what you're doing with it. Honestly, if you're riding an e-bike, I would recommend you're going to ride it in any type of traffic whatsoever, I would recommend putting turn signals on so people know what you're doing. And these are cycle wing lights that you can just plug into the handlebars. And then you just push a little button on them to make them blink. And there's different types you can get on Amazon or whatever. And technically, too, so when you're riding a bike in the city and there isn't a bike lane, you're supposed to be in the right-hand lane unless you're going to make a left turn. But this street, the right-hand lane ends right up here because then you're allowed to do street parking. And anytime I've stayed in the right lane, you end up just getting stuck there once you get to the cars for quite a while before you can then get a gap to get back out into the left lane and go around all the parked cars. So I just usually stay in the left. And two, if you pay attention to the speedometer on this bike, it's not super accurate. It'll read a few miles per hour over what it's actually doing, just because of my weight and the tires and the inflation level the tires are at that I have on there. It doesn't read completely accurately. Yeah, stuck at this red light for quite a while. I didn't feel like going down the main strip of Bardstown Road because there'd be heavy traffic and a lot of stuff going on, so I'm just kind of going through the back roads to go through some of these neighborhoods. And this is running through Cherokee Parkway currently. because I usually like to not ride on the main road if I can on the way home. Yeah, so this is getting towards the end of the video. So this was going through initially Cherokee Park, heading to downtown Louisville, going across the Big Four Bridge into Jeffersonville, Indiana, and riding around some. I can't remember if the path that I go on ends in New Albany or Clarksville. Then I turned around and came back through Jeffersonville, back to Louisville, and then I'm heading back through the Highlands. And this isn't capturing the entire ride home, I just captured part of it. Because up at the very end, you'll see where I went back by the Big Rock Pavilion. It's on the outskirts of Cherokee Park. You can see the beautiful art that's there. But yeah, that'll wrap up this ride. And until next time. Modern art.